After discourse between Kraus and the servants, the decision will be to hunker down in two separate groups, the relatives group and a servants group. The relatives group will stay in the guest house, and the servants group will go to the mansion. In the middle of all this, George will probably insist on looking outside for Shanon. He can look as much as he wants. He'll probably be quickly chilled to the bone in a thunderstorm, give up and return to the guest house. Following that, all the servants will have a meeting together in the mansion. They will reaffirm what their next actions will be. The 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th twilights will be a closed room chain. Okay. The future of closed room chains is that the corpses will be found in a chosen order, as long as the first closed room is on the first floor and the others on the second floor or higher, or in places outside the mansion. I can control the flow of their investigation. Okay, that's a classic. And I guess we're gonna see it in action. In a illusion type of view. Battle gathered all the servants of the mansion's banquet hall to make this pronouncement. Genji, Shanon and Kanon's expressions were calm, but Kuwasa and Gora's weren't.
本当にうまくいっているのでしょうか。不安ですね。
こういうことは初めての経験なもので、楽しいやら緊張するやら。
Gora feigned laughter while trying to appear composed. They don't know. They don't even know what that Eva and the others already did. This is Bato's deception, made possible by her discovery of the gold. Huh. Okay, well, you can definitely see it with Gora that he himself would not know what goes beyond the hidden doors and such, so to speak. Like, I don't think that that our culprit Yasu would tell Gora what happened, and like all this explanation with the bombs and like who the true master is. He has been deceived all this time. Hell, at this point, he more than likely thinks that this is all just a murder mystery game, a true game and such. But no, Kumasawa though. I mean, in my eyes, she should know, though. In my opinion. Like, she should know a lot of the stuff that is happening here. In similar fashion to Natsu and Kraus. And Genji. They believe the 5 victims were also paid off, and that they are just playing dead. Barring exceptions like Genji, most bribees are easier to manage if they aren't informed that they are involved with murder. It's case by case though.
ではそれぞれ決められた部屋へ移動してもらおう。死体のふりは意外に疲れるぞ。疲れない格好で倒れておくことだ。
Kanon in the parlor. Genji on the 2nd floor, the VIP room. Kumasawa on the 2nd floor, Natsu's bedroom. Oh shoot. I guess since this is a good old classic chain locked room and such, I guess they're gonna explain it a little bit over here. Let's see if it's similar to what I was thinking of. Like, if they're gonna go for a solution that is similar to mine. Go down the 3rd floor, waiting room. Shanon in a chapel. They all go to their respective murder scenes and do their makeup. From the 4th twilight on, they are all gouged and killed. They are all to be gouged with some 7 stakes of purgatory. Everybody attends to their separate tasks in their separate rooms. Genji is composed. So are Shanon and Kanon. Gora is nervous that his faking will be found out. Kumasawa is over that, and is starting to look forward to putting on the show.
いろいろないたずらをしてきましたけれど、こんな大きないたずらは初めてですね。
Okay. Kumasawa is chuckling in Natsuhi's room.
準備はいいか、熊沢よ。
おや、ベアトリーチェ様、使用人ごときに奥様のベッドで横になるなどもったいのうございます。
嘘をつけ。ベッドメイクの時、一度や二度飛び込んでみたくせに。
それを言ったらベアトリーチェ様だって。
それではメイクを始めるぞ。横になるがよい。
それでは失礼いたします。
Kumasawa takes off her shoes and starts to get on the bed.
これこれ、死体がわざわざ靴を脱ぐか。履いたままでよい。
奥様のベッドに土足で上がるなんて、なんだか申し訳ない気がしますね。
Yeah, it makes you feel even naughtier than you already are at this point. Kumasawa climbed onto the bed with her shoes on. Bato opened up her makeup bag.
良い姿勢は見つかったか？ただ横になるだけでも長時間同じ姿勢を維持するのは疲れるぞ。
And look at this cute little moment over here between Kumasawa and Beatrice. It's all happy like Kumasawa is staying in Natsuhi's comfortable bed that she always wished to be on. And Beatrice is gonna bring some powder for faking Kumasawa's death. But in actuality, she just brings up her gun and then BAM!
ええ、存じておりますとも。でもこれも1億円のためですものね。
Each of the servants is getting 100 million yen. In fact, it's already been sent. Yeah, to their respective families, I guess. In a few days, bank keycards should arrive at their homes. They won't be able to receive them, but their bereaved families can. Yeah. Kumasawa's son is surely going to be sad. At least, from what I remember, he was her son, right? Not grandson. I honestly don't remember, but either way. He's going to be sad.
こんなところでしょうかね。
Kumasawa had been stirring restlessly, but since she finally found a comfortable pose, it really looked like she had been killed.
様になっているぞ。さすが、人を騙しておちょくることに関しては才能がある。
このような大芝居を打つベアトリーチェ様には到底かないません。
ではメイクを始めるぞ。しばらく動くな。いやいや、もうそなたは死体なのだから、当分は身動きせずにいてもらうのだが。
南條先生が出て行ったら、もう楽にしてもよいのですね。
うん。南條が検視を終えた後は、警察が来るまで部屋を封印することになっている。そうしたら、少しは楽にしてよい。もっとも、死体なのであるぞ。賑やかな音を立てるでないぞ。
それは存じておりますとも。ではこっそりとこれを隠しておきましょうかね。
Kumasawa hides her half-read book and bag of smoked squid under the bed sheets.
やれやれ。用意周到なことだ。あまりリラックスしすぎて、気取られるでないぞ。万一芝居が失敗したら、報酬もなしなのだからな。
もちろん注意しますとも。
During their light banter, Bato had pulled a stake from her tool bag. Kumasawa is to be gouged and killed with a stake.
すまんが、うつ伏せになってくれぬか？仰向けではどうも格好がつかん。
うつ伏せでございますか？できはしますが、 それでは少々息苦しいかと。
仰向けではいかにも寝ていますという感じで、実にちょっと試しにうつ伏せになってくれぬか。試しだ試し。
そうでございますか。では失礼して。
長くその姿勢を保つのは苦しいか？
しばらくならなんとかなりましょうが。剣士は早めに済ましてほしいものですね。
そうかそうか。しばらくそのまんま。
This is sad. Like, okay, they're going for an interpretation where Kumasawa doesn't really know what is happening right over here, and Beatrice right over here, well, she's gonna end up killing her. The one true mother that she had all these years, taking good care of her. And Beatrice is gonna kill her right here. Like, this slow build up towards it. Like, what is Beatrice thinking as she's saying all this? It's really, really sad.
ちょっと衣装をいじらせてもらうぞ。あまりに綺麗に服を着こなされていてもリアリズムがないのでな。
Nato takes a tool from her bag. It's a twirled up lightweight extension cord.
ちょっとすまんな、通すぞ。そのままそのまま。
はいはい。
She coiled the extension cord around Kumasawa's neck, cross-lacing it from behind. She grasped the ends with both hands. Oh god. Nato flumped herself onto Kumasawa's back, straddling her. Suddenly, Kumasawa's throat tightened. You gotta be kidding me. You couldn't have just done it with a gun and that's it. You have to do it like this, I guess. And she could neither breathe nor scream. That extension cord wrapped around her neck was making a crackling sound from strangling her. Kumasawa looked like she was doing the flutter kick in the pool, her heavier kicks occasionally pounding the bed. And straddling on top was Beato, in complete silence, as if she thought Kumasawa some kind of a bug or rodent, mercilessly wringing her neck. The scene looked just as if a giant golden spider had captured some pitiful prey and was ejecting its poison. Oh my god. The spider and the web metaphor, that it originated from Kumasawa herself. How poetic. And along with that, the canopy bed must also appear to be made from this strange spider's silk. This web would sometimes suddenly quiver from Kumasawa's feeble resistance. And I guess there was also a reason for Kumasawa to just lay with her face down instead of with her face up. Beatrice did not want Kumasawa to see her tear up while doing so, because look at her. I was thinking like instantly that that's what she wanted when she decided that Kumasawa wanted, like when she decided that she wanted Kumasawa to face down instead of up, so that she wouldn't see her. Look at her. Kumasawa didn't move a muscle. She was dead.
すまんな、熊沢。そなたのえぐられし部位は足首。足首を打たれてから殺されるのでは余計な苦痛が多かろう。
I guess. Then with her strangling tool, Beato next grabbed her nearby rifle. Cause when you think about it, well, at least from my knowledge of how people get injured in media, like, shooting people in the leg, that surely is not really that instant of a kill, instead of being shot in the heart or in the head. So instead of seeing Kuwasa suffer by shooting her in the leg for a good while, I guess it is definitely an option to strangle her neck like that first, and then do the shooting. And then aiming at Kumasa's calf, she pulled the trigger. The gunshot wasn't loud. It wasn't like the bang sounds from TV or the movies. At most, it was as loud as uncorking a champagne bottle. But then a splat of blood flies, and there's blood oozing out of the discomforting hole as it's being fished into. This time, she was digging into it, tweezers in hand. Huh? Ah, right. She picked out the bullet that was just shot into the calf. Okay. Then, she unceremoniously tossed it into a small vinyl bag she had in her larger tool bag. Already stored in that vinyl bag were several bloodstained bullets.
第4と第5の番あたりは銃だけで蹴りがつくのだがな。後の番になればなるほど面倒になる。なので、ゴーダのような大男は第4、第5の番でないと殺すのに苦労してしまうのでな。
Then, taking the stake, she put the tip into the bloody, still oozing hole in the calf. Using her body weight, she carefully pressed it deeper. When she let up, the stake was cleanly plunged into the calf. She was still a bit worried that it might fall out before it's discovered, but it should still be enough to sustain the idea of sacrifices being gouged with stakes. And now Kuwasa, Gora, and Genji have been killed. As for Kanon, who will be the first discovered, he can't die yet because he still has work to do. Okay. So it may be true what I was saying over here. Because the first one that was discovered was Shanon, in like the other chained locked room as such. She was pretending to be dead. At least, that's how I interpreted it, from what I remember. I may have to go back to that one to think some more. He will take his time drawing magic circles on the doors of all the crime scenes. The chapel is far from the mansion, so he won't be searched first. There are 4 scenes to find in the mansion, but they'll have to break a window to get in since they're all locked. Okay. Other than the parlor, all the locations are on the 2nd floor or higher. So it's nearly certain that the first scene they'll set foot in will be the parlor. Yeah, that is surely one thing. I think I thought of that too. Because, okay, there was a reason for... There is a reason for why Shanon's body was discovered first. I mean, I pray to God that I remember the details correctly. I definitely have to revisit the crime scenes. But Shannon's death was discovered first in that chain. In like the parlor, which was on the 1st floor. The adults were definitely able to see inside the room through the windows. They cannot do that with the 2nd floors and all that because, well, it's too high for them to see through the windows without a ladder. So when the first one is discovered in the parlor through the window and they break through the window, that's how it all starts. In the parlor, Kanon will be dead, and in his pocket, a master key. And in the room will also be a letter from the witch that includes the key to the next room. The survivors will end up finding the corpses by following the dictative route. Under the pretense of preserving the room to hand over to the police, the crime scenes will be protected from possible investigation. Natsuki will restrain the children, and Dr. Najo and Kraus will be the only ones who go near the corpses. Jessica might try to rush to Kanon's corpse, so she'll require special attention.
ってはダメ、入ってはダメ。
なんてこった。畜生。
これで使用人たちは犯人かもしれないという疑いは晴れましたね。夏日おばさん。
George sent a cold glare at Nazi, who had suspected the servants and driven them from the guest house.
どうですか、南條先生。
詳しい死因はわからんが、死んどることはわかる。ただ少なくともこいつが致命傷でないことは確かだ。
There was an awful wound on Kanon's knee, and a bloodied stake on the floor. There's no doubt that the culprit pierced Kanon's knee, but it's hard to think that stabbing a knee would lead to death. He was probably killed another way, but Nanjo couldn't grasp what it was with a cursory examination.
とにかく警察のためにも現場はそっとしておいた方がいい。私たちが勝手に荒らせばそれだけ捜査を妨害してしまうことになる。
同感ですな。この部屋はこれまでにした方が良さそうだ。それより手紙の中に入っていた貴賓室の鍵とやらが気になりますな。
考えたくはないが、貴賓室にもおそらく。
行ってみましょ
う。なんということだ。彼らをゲストハウスから追い出さなければ。
Kraus hung his head and pulled at his hair.
すまない、カノン。君たちを信じてやることができなくて。部下を信じることができないなんて。私は人の上に立つ資格はない。カノン
君の膝に杭。
第7の番だね。膝をえぐりて殺せ。
ってことは第4、第5、第6はどうなるんだい。他にも少なくとももう3人殺されてるって意味じゃないのかい。
落ち着けよ、ジョージの兄貴。まだそうと決まったわけじゃ。
クラスおじさん、貴賓室へ急ぎましょ
う。少し待ちたまえ。割った窓をこのままにはできない。鎧戸を閉めておこう。
気持ちはわかります。でもこれ以上現場は荒らせません。犯人を必ず見つけるためにもこのままにしなくては。だからここから祈りなさい。彼の礼服を。
So they all head to the second floor's VIP room, then to Nazi's bedroom, then to the third floor's waiting room. Meanwhile, Kanon quietly sneaked out of the parlor. He's got a master key, so he can just leave straight out the door and then lock it. Kanon's even got 2 master keys, so he can leave one behind in the parlor. Of course, there is a concern that after the epitaph murders are complete, the crime scenes will all be investigated again. For that situation, so that Kanon's missing corpse won't create inconsistency, the culprit will have to perform some action that takes Kanon's corpse away. Kanon's disappearing corpse can become the trigger for another mystery. Kanon headed towards the chapel and met Shanon. Then he gave his master key to Shanon. Okay.
お疲れ様。守備はどう？
ただ寝てるだけさ。こんなの肥料の袋を運ぶ仕事より簡単さ。
ご苦労であったぞ、カノン。これでそなたはお役御免だ。
As a reward, you can take a sniff out of my pipe. Okay.
ありがとうございます、ベアトリーチェ様。
Thank you, Beatrice sama, for the little sniff.
じゃあね。
姉さん、また次のゲーム版で。
うん。また次のゲーム版で。
And with that, he's dead. Beatrice waved her cane, and then Kanon's body sublimated into mist and disappeared into her smoking pipe.
さて、連鎖密室の鳥を飾るのはそなたであるぞ。
はい、心得ております。
そなたには第4の番を与えることにする。これが最も慈悲深い番だ。
ありがとうございます。
Bato and Shanon entered a chapel. The gloomy, solemn chapel was engulfed in nothing but the sound of wind and rain. Okay, this may actually be a little bit different from what I thought of for that other locked room. Or... okay, I'm definitely gonna think about this, like, after.
どこがよろしいでしょう?
Because I do understand what is going on right here. I do understand how they're gonna do this.
祭壇の裏手あたりはどうか?
かしこまりました。
Between the stained glass and the altar in front of it, there was a crevice no more than 20 centimeters wide. The crevice was sufficiently deep. Shanon had in advance prepared a metal dumbbell tied to a rope. And then she carefully tested hanging and lowering the dumbbell into the crevice. It went in with no problems. The weight of the dumbbell was ideal.
どうだ? 問題ないか?
はい、十分です。問題ありません。
では先に杭の化粧から始めよう。そなたの杭は血で汚すことが難しいのでな。
She pulled some painting materials out of her bag. It's the exact same stuff used in movies and the like. And so she applied blood makeup to the end of the stake.
こんなものか。そちらの準備はどうだ?
はい、こちらも準備できました。
Shanon tied a pistol to the end of the rope opposite to that of the dumbbell. Oh, hold on. Okay, this actually reminds me of my interpretation of the murder, like, near the well that was gated up, like in episode 4, where we seen Shanon die, I think it was. Either way, it was like I had like this idea about a gun that was tied to a rope and then it shot like the victim there. And then where would be the gun? It would fall into the well. And you cannot go inside because it's all gated up. It's impossible to break through that. So I think that they're gonna go and do something similar to that here. And then she carefully lowered the dumbbell into the crevice between the altar and the stained glass window. Okay. Carefully lower the dumbbell into the crevice between the altar. The middle of the rope was caught against the corner of the altar. Since the dumbbell was heavier than the pistol, as soon as she lets go, everything, gun and all, will be pulled into the crevice.
うまく落ちそうか?
はい、問題ありません。
Yeah, that way the gun will disappear, like right after her death. Shanon has the pistol tied to the rope to Bato. And Bato hands Shanon the fake bloodied stake. Shanon gently presses the stake against her own forehead. Bato also puts the pistol to Shanon's forehead, aligning it with the stake.
悔いはないのか?
ありません。すべてはベアトリーチェ様のおぼし召しのままに。
残念であるぞ。誰かが碑文の謎を解けたなら、そなたも死なずに済んだものを。
解けるわけがありません。 あれほどの難解な謎が。もとより望みのない賭けでした。
それでもわらわはかけたのだ。それでも叶う奇跡こそが魔法だとな。
この毒素に満ちた人間の世界には魔法も奇跡もありません。ベアトリーチェ様、あなたこそが唯一の魔女にしてこの世に魔法を権限できる唯一の存在なのです。
そうだ、我こそは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。安らかに眠れ。次にそなたが目覚めるときはそこは黄金鏡だ。そこにはそなたの愛するジョージもいる。
ありがとうございます、ベアトリーチェ様。
It was a weak sound, but inside the chapel where only wind and rain could be heard, there was a faint echo. Shanon was tranquilly looking up at the ceiling. Then she suddenly collapsed like a puppet that had lost its strings. And speaking of strings, Battle lets go of the pistol in her hand. And when she does, the pistol, pulled by the heavy dumbbell, is swiftly swallowed up by the darkness of the crevice, disappearing with a heavy metallic clank. All that's left in front of the altar is Shannon's body with a bloody forehead. And strewn on the floor beside her, a stake for gouging sacrifices.
これで倒れた拍子に眉間より杭が抜けたように見えるな。
And with another wave of her cane, golden butterflies took the shape of an envelope placed next to Shanon. Inside was entrusted the first key, the key to the parlor. And so the closed room chain is complete. The 5 people, all with their master keys and the keys to each successive room, were all locked up in their own closed rooms. With another wave of her cane, she left a letter inside the envelope. It says something about Kanon's corpse being borrowed as an earth sacrifice for a ceremony. And so they'll rush back to the parlor. But at the time, the parlor would have long been completely empty. They'll never be able to see the face of Kanon's corpse again.
さーて、これで非分連続殺人は終了であるな。どうであるか、バトラー。わらわのミステリー、楽しんでくれると良いのだが。
For the story concerning the disappearance of Kanon's body, I'll attribute it to the already summoned Flauros. Even after Kanon's death, his soul will battle against Beato and Flauros. But it will be all useless. He'll lose, and what's more, his corpse will be swallowed up by Flauros. Something like that. And with that, this game's epitaph serial murder incident comes to a close. And all that's left is the bomb. All that's left is to rewrite it into a fantasy story with Flauros as the culprit. Okay. Alright. I congratulate you, Beatrice, on another story that you've written. In a very compact way and illusionless for most of it, but it's pretty good. I actually enjoyed quite a few of the aspects of this, like Kumasawa's death. Like, I mean, they did explain the murders and such, but nonetheless, seeing these murders, like the explanations and actions, it's interesting.
ここから読み物としての体裁を整えていくのが一番骨が折れるのだ。表の物語と裏の物語、これを一致させつつ 読み物として充実させるのは実に苦労する。
Oh, I feel ya.
トリックを考え出すのと同じか、それ以上にな。
そしてその上辺の物語だけを読ませるのですから、あなたの物語はなんとも贅沢な限りです。
そうであるな。わらわは常にミステリーの物語とファンタジーの物語の2つを描いている。にもかかわらず、公開されるのはその一方の物語だけだ。それは例えるなら、牛より最も上質なる肉をわずかだけ切り出し、美味なる料理として、残りはすべて捨ててしまうかのような贅沢だ。
贅沢な例えです。
I love the little detail that they did there, like taking off the glasses and the sound effect there as well.
しかし惜しくもあるのではないですか。
惜しいとは？
Eleanor had turned the bundle of manuscript to Battle. Battle had replied back as she was arranging it on the desk.
あなたは倍の物語を描き、その上辺の半分だけを料理します。
You paint twice the story, then you only cook the surface half.
贅沢に捨てられた残り半分を知る者は、その味と大胆な切り捨てに驚きと称賛を送るでしょう。しかし、世の中の人間すべてがあなたの望むほど舌が肥えているとは限らないのです。
そういう輩も時にはいるであろうな。
あなたはそれを1000人に1人と記しましたが、おそらくは逆です。1000人に1人を除いて全ての人間はあなたが本当に読んでもらいたかったにもかかわらず、切り捨てて葬った残り半分の物語を察することもできないに違いないのです。
良いではないか。贅沢に上辺のみを切り取って物語とした読み物だ。ならばその読み手も1000人に1人を除いて全てを切り捨てるというのもなんとも贅沢で良いではないか。
それであなたは良いのですか。人は物語を読まれるために書くのです。誰にも読まれることのない物語を書き、自ら闇に葬るなど、贅沢の極みを超えて愚かしくさえ思えるのです。
良いではないか。1000人の999人に理解できるように記したものが文書と呼ばれるなら、1000人の1人にしか理解できない我が物語は奇書と呼ばれるにふさわしい。魔女の描く物語なのだ。ならば奇妙な味たる奇書で良いではないか。
私の役目は戒律を用いてその奇なる物語を万人に理解できるようにすることです。
そういうことだ。だからこそ本当はそなたの手に委ねたくはない。
ですが、あなたの考えは分かりました。999人に理解できるようにはできませんが、せめてあと1人理解できるようにする手伝いをできるかもしれません。
手伝いとは何か。
この未完成の原稿をいつの日にか公開したいのです。
わらわが料理に使い捨てた腹綿をわざわざゴミ箱より引っ張り出そうというわけか。
あなたはおそらく誰にも理解されないでしょう。しかしながらそれはあなたの本心とも思えません。 あなたは999人への理解は求めていない。しかしそれでもたった一人への理解を求めている。
その一人さえ現れぬ可能性もあるわけだからな。自分の胸の内を誰かに理解してほしいと願うのは恋する少女だけではない。1000年を経た魔女とてそれを願うのだ。
そして少女はわざと難解な言葉でそれを語り、たった一人の王子の迎えを待
つ。そういうわけだ。わらわも長い月日をかけてなんともややこしい物語を書き上げたものよ。
もしその王子が現れないとき、私があなたへ導く道しるべとなりましょう。
ミステリーであることを保証するノックスの実戒か。そんなものが果たしてわらわへの道しるべとなるものか。
それでも足りなければ、この未完成の原稿を公開し、あなたの世界への鍵とします。
You know, it does make me think of the released bottles and all that, because that's one of the main things about this whole discussion out here about the released bottles that the world has found, like after the Rokenjima incident. Truly enough, it did reach that one individual that she always wanted. That she always wanted that person to understand. Huh. Truly a small world.
なんとも恥さらしな話だ。告白する勇気もない小娘が友人に代弁させるかのようではないか。
And by that person, I mean, you know, Toya.
それで成立する愛もあるのです。
よかろう。この原稿をそなたにくれてやろう。
Battle faced this way, and leaving a trail of smoke with it, tapped the bundled manuscript with her pipe. When she did, the manuscript bundle curled up, and a bottle blinked into existence around it, sealing it inside. Releasing the manuscript to the world. I mean, you know, when you think of Delanor, and more specifically the Nox rules that she represents, the Nox's rules are like the most logical thing to follow when it comes to the murder mysteries, and something that the world surely knows by now when it comes to, you know, reading murder mysteries in general, like the rules. You gotta follow the rules in order for a mystery to make sense to the world. In that sense, like, the Noxus rules is surely the most representative of the world in general, of the logic of the normal humans that would want to make sense out of everything. Because they are gonna use the rules in order to make a murder mystery make sense, otherwise it would be just gibberish in their eyes. That's why the rules were made in the first place, because otherwise you'd have like mysteries that made no sense at the beginning. So that's what this moment represents to me, in the sense that, well, Beatrice is gonna release like the first stories to the world in the form of bottles, in the form of message bottles, and the rest is up to the world to interpret it however they want. And this whole thing of Battle handing the manuscript to Delanor, that's kind of the magical way of seeing it. She tossed it to Delanor.
そなたの好きにせよ。ただし条件が一つだけある。
何でしょ
う。わらわの生あるうちにその封を解くことを許さぬ。
それではこの原稿によって真実にたどり着いた人々があなたに答えを告げられません。
わらわの待つ王子はその原稿を読まずに至ったもののみだからだ。
True. Because if someone like Better would not reach the thing that Beatrice wished for even by this point, then, well, the ending of Umineko would totally have been different. If Beller / Toya wouldn't have managed to piece things together after the Rokenjima incident. Because, in a way, I look at this Our Confession story right over here. It, well, I'm not gonna say that this story didn't have value, because it had. It offered some stuff that even reading this makes Umineko beautiful still. There are some aspects of this Our Confession that makes you admire Umineko still. But on the flip side, when you look at it from a murder mystery aspect, from a murder mystery perspective, it is kind of unnecessary, in a way. Like, it kind of gives you, like, ways of how the victims were murdered, and the solutions that, if you were smart enough, you would think of this stuff. Like, if you are smart enough, you could piece, like, a lot of the murders that happen in this story, like, easily. And in that sense, it wasn't really necessary, if you already solved the Epitaph murders. If I'm making sense right over here.
猫の腹を裂いた後では猫をめでることはできまい。そのボトルを開けるとはすなわちわらわの腹を裂くも同じことだからだ。
わかりました。そのようにいたしましょう。願わくばこの原稿によってあなたの墓に参る者が現れることを心より祈ります。
どうだかな。かけらの海の魔女諸剣は実に冷淡であるぞ。わらわの墓に参る者が仮にいたとして唾を吐きかけるだけであろうがな。
あなたが愛ある者に見える物語を書いたなら、あなたもまた彼女たちを愛するべきなのです。あなたの求める王子とてあなたに愛がなければ見えないのです。
これは一本取られたぞ。そなたの勝ちだ。さあ、そのボトルを手土産に帰るがよい。
Did I mention before that Delanor is like the best? Guess she truly is. She's a baby, and she's awesome.
わらわはまだ死なぬ。
Like I told you, like at the beginning of our confession, like right before we started the story right over here, that Delanor is probably like among the best readers that you could have for your story. Her and Will, and eventually Toya / Balor. But other than that, yeah.
書き終えねばならぬ物語はまだまだ長いのでな。
それではこれで失礼します。お元気で、大ベアトリーチェ卿。あなたを待つ大勢の愛ある魔女のことをどうかお忘れなく。
そうであるな。それをそなたの置き土産と思い、受け取ることにする。ロノウェ、客人のお帰りだ。玄関まで見送るがよい。その後、わらわにはもう一度紅茶を。久しぶりに甘いミルクティーを飲みたくなった。
かしこまりました、お嬢様。
As a result of Lady Beatrice's death, I released this incomplete tale in accordance with her will. In reading this work, I was reminded of her long years of sadness, and couldn't hold back my tears. But at the same time, I felt pity for her. Although she was searching for someone who had love, I'm sad to say that ironically, her heart was filled with anger at those who did not. She once told me that it was fine if her story only reached one person out of 1,000. However, that was wrong. Out of those 1,000 people, she wished her story would reach even one more person. If you asked her, she would surely laugh and deny it. But those were, without a question, her true feelings. In the beginning, I was uncertain about releasing this manuscript. I thought that I should hide it, so as to preserve her mystery for the 1 in 1,000 savior as she spoke so often about. But as I read and reread it, I began to realize that the manuscript was a message with no destination address. It was a wish that even she never realized she had. But now I understand it, and I think it should be granted. I mean, when you think about it, this is probably like the most difficult manuscript that Beatrice ever wrote. Because, well, I joked about it in the first episodes and such, and I and even got miffed a little bit at Beatrice for being so hidden. That she has difficulty expressing herself, and the way she did her stories is the only way that she was able to express it. But now she has done something like this. That's actually quite surprising. That she wrote such a manuscript like this, so open in comparison to other stories. And that is the reason I decided to release this incomplete manuscript. After you read this, it doesn't matter what your feelings toward a woman named Beatrice are, whether it's love or anger, but if you can, try to reach her feelings, buried in the deepest part of the story. She said that she wrote 2 stories and revealed 1. However, that was also wrong. She wrote 3 stories and revealed 1. By reading this incomplete manuscript, you will know 2 of those stories. I would like you to reach the 3rd and final one with your own power. The last note. Whew. I got goosebumps there. A little bit. It's another woman. I strongly wish that of those reading this work. Without love, it cannot be seen. Those are her words. But I shall repeat them. Love exists in everyone's hearts. Her true tragedy was that she couldn't see that. My deepest thanks go out to everyone who helped with the compilation of this book, especially to my assistant, Anzu, Delano Knox,